All right, and welcome in to the Rob and Kale Show. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. My buddy, Carolina Jackpot, is the best Gamecock YouTuber on the planet. He is in the upstate doing his thing, calling himself Carolina Covers with a Oregon State hat on. Welcome to the show, sir.
Rob, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing, sir, over here hanging out. Got the kids all fed and ready and all that good stuff. Ready to pick some games with you, man.
All right, let's do it. Let's get going on.
All right, here we go. We'll go ahead and get our game picks out of the way here. Then we'll take some calls once we're done. Let's see
everybody
here.
over in the chat.
Yeah, welcome to the chat. I'm gonna
Will
make
you
this
still be doing the show Sunday night? Yes. What's up, Goose Sport? What's up, Brock? Matthew Goldsmith, Spurs up. Jerome Pruitt, Brian Cothran. Dr. Bart, Jerome Pruitt says, what happened to the fireside chats? Well, Dennis ain't been feeling good lately, or he was not feeling good at one point in time.
Yeah. Dennis had some issues with his lungs, so that took a hit.
He had mud butt.
He had mud
butt. You.
I'm gonna tell him you said that. That's all right though.
That's fine.
But anyway, the fireside chats may return. We may see. First game we got, Jackpot, is Penn State at West Virginia. West Virginia is getting 9.5 points at home. For me, man, home team getting that many points. I know Penn State's supposed to be the best thing ever. There are people talking about West Virginia being a dark horse to take the Big 12. Yeah. I think they make a statement and hang in there, and they'll get within those 9.5. So we'll take West Virginia.
Yeah. So Penn State covered last year as a 20-point home favorite. The late touchdown won 38-15. James Franklin kind of stuck it in with a few seconds left there. So that's kind of a little bit of a revenge thing there because I'd be pissed off about that, right? Drew Aller, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last year. West Virginia brings back a pretty good quarterback themselves in Garrett Green, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, about 2,500 yards. Last year, they got 2 running backs also, one named C.J. Donaldson, the other one, whose name I can't remember, right about 800 yards apiece. So they can kind of ground and pound it a little bit there. 9.5 points on the road. You know, Penn State hasn't always started out of the gate great. I remember a couple of years ago they went on the road, took a wet fart Purdue team on and barely beat them, barely covered. So for me, probably going to roll with the home underdog here also too.
Yeah, I just think it's too many points there, to be completely honest with you. Next up, we've got
Mr. Joker
Notre
says
Dame.
West Virginia pays good. Believe it or not, are you saying they play good or they pay good?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's a good question. So our next matchup is Notre Dame at Texas A&M. Notre Dame in our line is giving up 1.5 points. I think that line has moved, Jackpot, if I remember correctly. I think it's up to 3 now, if I remember right. Let me look at that to make sure here. But go ahead and tell us your pick on that one, and I'll tell you mine once I.
Well, Notre Dame lost 3 starters on the offensive line from last year.
Right.
Which they also lost Audric Estime, their leading rusher, rushed for about 1,200 yards last year. They're only returning running back, supposedly a decent young feller. They only rushed for 385 yards last year. So that could be a problem out of the gate. And I did not know this until I found out last night by listening to the Uncle Lou show. Their starters have only combined. They only have 6 combined starts between them. That's not good when you're taking on a team who has a defensive-minded head coach like a Mike Elko. They also, out of the transfer portal, they brought in Nick Scorington, the Big Ten leader in sacks last year, got about 13 sacks at Purdue. So they're pretty stacked there. Also, which other people talk about, is also, Mike Elko knows what the Notre Dame quarterback, Riley Leonard's tendencies are because he's a defensive-minded head coach. That being said, I'm not high on Notre Dame. I'm not that high on Marcus Freeman. I don't think that he's anything special. And without the stud running back anymore, give me Texas A&M here. Or they win this game outright.
Right. I was looking for see if that line had moved any, Jackpot. 1.5 is where it was at when we put out the pick'em here. So people think it's just basically a toss-up game. I'm in the camp of every year we're told the same thing. Notre Dame's going to be great. Now, to be fair, Notre Dame has been a consistent top 15 team. There's that. But now the line is Texas A&M -3. I think it's going to be close. There are a lot more unknowns, I think, with Notre Dame. You mentioned those offensive linemen and everything else. So I'm probably going to take Texas A&M.
You don't think there are unknowns with A&M also?
Well, but I have more confidence in Elko as a coach than I do with Marcus Freeman. So
yeah, me too. I don't know.
I think about it, and I like the head coach at home, and of course the home team. If I like the coach there and the home team, and let's say the teams are even, I'm going to roll with the home team there. And even if it is the 3 points, I'll give up the 1.5. So here you go. I got A&M. Next one is LSU and Southern Cal. The game is played in Las Vegas. My thing with this team is that I don't think that they're going to come out rolling as far as Southern Cal goes. You're always going to get good quarterback play with Stinkin' Riley, but I think that it's going to take a bit for them to get moving. I'll take LSU and give up the 6.5.
Yeah, I'm going to roll the other way, sir. I mean, defense, we're talking about this will be a battle of 2 teams that don't play defense. Well, I think that's not true because LSU has talent on that defensive side of the football. They just weren't able to put it together last year. I think Blake Baker's going to get them right. But USC has also made some moves. Lincoln Riley finally listened. Everybody's like, he's not going to play defense. He never plays defense. Well, he finally listened, went across town. He got the defensive coordinator left behind off Chip Kelly's staff. Guy was an absolute stud at UCLA. He also brought in former defensive coordinator at Houston and the former head coach from North Dakota State. He actually just hired him to be on the staff there to coach linebackers or something. So he's built a nice little coaching staff there for that defense. Brought a ton of players in off the portal to try to bolster up that side of the ball. I think that they're going to muddy it up. I think they're going to keep this game tight, and I think USC covers the number. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go outright. I'm definitely on the Miller Moss hype train. Guy tossed 6 touchdown passes in their bowl game against Louisville. Yeah, I know. Bowl games don't matter. He still threw 6 touchdown passes. It seems like every quarterback that Lincoln Riley coaches ends up being a Heisman winner or a Heisman contender. So I don't expect anything less than from this Miller Moss kid. I'm going to take the Trojans here. The USC. I think next week LSU plays. It may be Nicholls State or somebody like that. They're going to start the year off 1-2. They're going to have back-to-back losses to USC's. One on a neutral site, one away. So they're going to have a rough start to the season. Now we're going to find out what kind of mettle Brian Kelly has as a coach after that. See if he can kind of, not lose the locker room after losses to these USCs, kind of round the troops back up a little bit. I think he can do it. I think he can. But I'm standing with the Trojans in this one, the short underdog there.
We can agree to disagree. I think Kelly's a hell of a coach, and he's not losing to South Carolina. So write that down.
Okay, well, whatever.
Miami is at Florida. Florida is a 2.5-point dog at home, and it seems like we just shit on Florida so much because they have so many off-season problems. Their head coach is being sued by a recruit. I think is one of the things that's out there. He just has issues. He really does. But it's not like Miami's lighting the world on fire. They do have the preseason ACC Player of the Year who's never played a snap in conference. I mean, there's that. And he's supposed to be great. I'm not saying, I'm not, crapping on him as a player, but we'll see how that works out. When I look at this game, it's such a short line. When you look at Florida's roster, it's not like they have a bunch of bums there. They've got some players, It's not like they're rolling out a Vanderbilt style roster. So I'm not confident in either coach. I'm really not.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to it, I'm going to roll with the underdog here, and I'm going to take the Florida Gators at home over Miami there.
I'm taking Florida too. I'm taking them to win outright. I think the wrong team's favored here. I just think that Napier has more to gain from a win here than Mario Big Chest does. Mario Big Chest loses to an SEC team on the road. It's not as big of a deal as if Sunbelt Billy loses to an ACC team at home. I don't care how much they're hyped up. I don't care what their ranking is. He needs this win. He needs it badly. I think they're going to be motivated. It's going to be hotter than 40 hells there, which that doesn't really – it's not going to benefit either team because, it's hot in Miami too. So I just think that with everything kind of on the line here in the first week of the season, I think they come out and win in a big way here. We've seen him the past 2 years win kind of a game that he shouldn't. Maybe win a game was an underdog at home. 2022, his opener at Florida against Utah, and then last year against the Vols. They're still crying about it. They're planning their Super Bowl extravaganza around that game this year. Rumor has it they're going to break out the Dolly Parton helmets for that game. But I'm not sure. Anyway.
They can't go into dork mode for South Carolina because South Carolina
can't go into dork mode for South Carolina on schedule anymore. They didn't beat us into submission. They beat us by 21 points. Whatever will we do? They got
to trade it in and go to Florida now. Florida gets the dork mode uniforms. That's the way it works now. So I don't know. We'll see how that comes out.
Ryan Cothran said the Miami fans seemed nervous going into the swamp. They were saying they were superior on the lines of scrimmage. Who is Florida or who said that they were superior on the line of scrimmage? What's up, Pastor Dave? How you doing?
That line, by the way, has not moved at all, Jackpot.
Yeah,
I mean, you would
no,
think.
Billy, we're not going into dork mode. Saturday against ODU. It's gonna be too hot down here. We'll probably do that in like maybe October against A&M or something. Hopefully.
Yeah, line hasn't moved though, Jackpot. It's kind of interesting.
What line? The Florida game line is
It
not
hasn't
moved.
moved. Has not moved at all. It's been straight up.
So that means
So
what? We got equal money coming in on both sides, pretty much.
pretty much, it hasn't moved. I mean, that's
Yeah, I would say that would be bet pretty much 50-50 down the middle.
all right.
Really,
Well,
it's a coin flippy type game. I think if Miami and Mario Big Chest, if they play up to their potential on paper, I think they'll win the game. But I don't think they will. So because I don't believe in them. Show me,
Yeah.
and then I might believe in you. But they've been hyped up for years, and they never live up to the hype. Why do I think this year is going to be any different? It's kind of like that abusive husband. You've told me for 5 years you're going to stop beating me. You continue to beat me even during the good times. So why should I believe that you're going to stop beating me now? I'm finally leaving you, and I'm going back to live with my mom.
Way to bring up domestic violence in the program, Jackpot.
Hey, I chose violence.
Yeah, you
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence, exactly.
Yeah, 60 people watching, or 61 people watching, which blows, by the way. We should have more people watching this right now. I don't know. Is Donald Trump giving an address right now or something I don't know about? Anyway, 18 thumbs up. Let's hit the thumbs up there, folks. Let's follow Billy's instructions. Hit the thumbs up. Share this to somebody. Let them know that Rob and Jackpot are live. And we're picking games, damn it. And turn Donald Trump off.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. We're giving you dum-dums free picks here. If you've signed up to the Callaway's Challenge and you went 0 for 4 last week, you want to hear our picks. It's not like one of us went 0 and 4. Come on.
Jerry Wells to the Braves and the Twinkies are tied up at 1. I've bet that game the past 2 nights, Rob, and it flew past the over early and often, and I didn't bet it today, and I'm glad I did not.
Well, they had sales on the mound, or sale on the mound tonight, so I would take the under all day. But yeah. Anyway, let's see here. The next game on our schedule here is Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt. Hopefully, Vanderbilt will have their stadium squared away. I haven't heard of.
Isn't this game in Nashville at the Nissan Stadium?
I don't know, Jackpot. That's a good question. I don't pay enough attention to Vanderbilt football to care. But
You don't pay what?
I don't pay enough attention to Vanderbilt football to give a shit.
That's not very nice.
Well, I'll tell you what. Here's a thought. Win some damn games. If you want me to care about you, win some games.
Hey, damn you. They've won some games. Just haven't won a lot.
Jackpot, if you want to be a Vanderbilt fan, we can get you a Vanderbilt t-shirt and you can be a Vanderbilt fan.
No, it is at Vandy Stadium, First Bank Stadium. Okay, I thought it was at the Nissan Stadium, but
see, you want to know one of the problems that I have in my life, Jackpot, is that my wife is a highly educated woman. I'm not bullshitting. She sits over there, and the first thing that comes out of her mouth is, "There's nothing wrong with the smart kids." Look. Oh, she says you can't go wrong with the smart kids. Yes, you can. The smart kids are a shithole, honey. They are terrible. Terrible. Well, you know what? They also have the Vanderbilt Whistler there, and fuck him forever. Give me Virginia Tech because I don't like the Whistler. I don't like the fact that Vanderbilt is going to get 3 times the money Clemson's going to get in 2 seasons for TV money, and they're not worth a shit in football. I don't like their stadium. Just fuck them in general. Give me Virginia Tech. I'll take the point. Give up the points.
I'm going to go the opposite way. I think Virginia Tech's a fraud. I've told you that. Plus, thing about Virginia or Vanderbilt is they are bringing in basically New Mexico State from last year. New Mexico State had a pretty good year last year.
Okay, Jackpot, you're great, man.
Well, okay, Rob. All right. Look, I looked at this over the summer, and I've been staring at this line. I'm like, what am I missing? I don't understand why this line is not higher. than this, you know? And I got to look in here, and I'm like, well, number one, Virginia Tech's fraud. Two, Diego Pavia. Now, the thing about him is he didn't go through spring practice with Vandy, but his ex-head coach is there. He's an analyst. His ex-OC is the OC here.
Right.
Everything is setting up for them to do well. The only question I have is, the other 10 players on the offensive side of the football. I think Vanderbilt's defense will be okay. And I think they keep it inside this 13.5 number. In fact, I was thinking about sprinkling a little bit on the money line here with Vandy. New stadium dedication. And it just feels like a spot where we could see an underdog bark and bark loudly.
Okay.
I guess we got the pot to $3,000. It's over that. And it's actually still open if anybody wants to jump into it. The leaders here still have 4 picks right, but that's not anything that's insurmountable, Rob. I mean, Lord, one of those people could have a terrible week, and somebody that joins the contest, you could have a great week too or something, and you could be tied right back up,
Todd says, yeah, Rob, tell the truth. I'm mad about Vanderbilt making twice the money. Yes, I am. I absolutely am.
Why?
Because Vanderbilt doesn't give
your team has played football games against them, and they've won more games against your team than your team has won against them. So why?
Okay, let's move on. You're just being silly tonight. Don't make me bring
I'm telling the truth. I mean, you
okay. Well, I can drop facts.
Be a little bit more respectful to your daddy.
How about this? South Carolina has a losing record to the Augusta YMCA. Do you want to keep going down this road?
Well, if I can go dig up someone who played for the Augusta YMCA, I would think they're probably entombed somewhere.
So is everybody that played the last time that Clemson played Vanderbilt too. So if you want to keep digging up that stuff, brother, we can.
I mean, the last time y'all played them was in 1960. I mean, I would think that's in the modern era.
None of those players are alive. I'll bet everything on it. None of them are alive. None of the starters are.
1960, they would have been born in like 1940. Shit.
Yeah. I don't think
any of them still alive. I guarantee you.
I doubt it. Anyway.
That's a little bit younger than my daddy, and my daddy passed away 4 years ago.
Well,
so
we're not going to
smoke cigarettes like my daddy. I guarantee you, they probably outlived him.
We're not going to be disrespectful to your daddy. We're just saying that Vanderbilt.
I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just using him as a time frame. Damn it! I'm using him like as a barometer for how old these Vanderbilt people that own Clemson would be right now.
Why don't we use you as a time frame? Because we know that your stuff is all about Gamecock losses in your life. You even said that yourself, sir.
What about the Gamecock wins? There's also a lot of them too.
In women's hoops. Southern Miss at Kentucky. Southern Miss is getting 23.5 against the Wildcats. Which way you going there, Jackpot?
Southern Miss beat Kentucky in 2016 in the season opener at Kroger Field. Since that time, they're 0-7, 2-5 against the spread versus SEC teams. They were one of the worst teams in the Sun Belt last year, and their starting quarterback is going to be Tate Rodemaker, who transferred from FSU. That was the guy who took over for Jordan Travis, and we saw the kind of – I mean, they had an immense drop-off under this dude. That's with – Johnny Wilson, Keon Coleman, all those guys were healthy, right? But, I mean, they were barely able to beat Florida and that fraud Louisville team down the stretch. So, I mean, he's going here to a team with a terrible roster. I don't like it. I think Kentucky covers that 23.5. The line's actually up to like 28, and I wouldn't touch that. I don't think Kentucky covers 28, but I was looking at them. They have a brand new core of defensive backs here. I think that Dane Key and Barry and Brown might have themselves a field day. against these guys. So give me the big blue cover spread here.
I like to bookmark and pinpoint different events in my life by a Gamecock loss. It's like a timeline of suck.
Thank you, Virtual Jackpot.
Thank you for that, sir.
I'm also going with Kentucky minus 23.5 because Southern Miss is terrible.
Southern Miss is dog shit. Now, I don't understand that, and I really don't. I don't understand why they can't be better at football. I mean, they were like at one time they were like a more southern, I guess, version of like Louisville. I mean, Ellis Johnson, who former Gamecock defensive coordinator, remember he took the coaching job there and he went 0-12.
Right.
In like 2012, I think. And I listened to a podcast with him on it the other day.
Right.
And I don't know if you heard this piece or not, Rob, but he basically said, they were actually telling him like to fire assistant coaches because they couldn't afford to pay them.
Right. He said the same thing on our show that we have on WVOC. It was basically he knew that it was doomed from the start because, just the budget issues, and he said they didn't really try to support a culture of winning. So
just a dump. During that same thing, he was being interviewed by Jamie Bradford, I think is his name. Is it Jamie Crawford? What's his name? Bradford. Yeah.
Crawford from 247 Sports.
And Mike Morgan, and they were also there on the thing with the producer, Mad Dog Phil Mullinax, who's a goofy-looking little fella. But anyway, Ellis Johnson was talking about Muschamp and all the good things he did at South Carolina, and he actually said that he thought it was kind of unfair that he got fired during the COVID year, and that they had some good NFL players on that defense, and he just thought Will kind of just needed one more year.
I don't know, man.
Okay. Maybe he liked him for some reason, but yeah.
No, I mean, there was a lot, and there were a lot of people that didn't like Muschamp, and there were a lot of the folks that thought that he could turn it around. I don't know.
Well, I made a comment that I said I really enjoyed listening to Coach talk. I said, I can't believe that he thinks Coach Boom just needed, and I put in quotes, one more year. And whoever that was, like the moderator or whatever, commented on it, and I'm assuming this was the Jamie Bradford dude. I don't know. But he, typed me out this 4-paragraph long thing, basically with the dissertation that, a lot of people thought that Will was just a really, really good coach who just, had a string of bad luck. Okay, well, I mean, it happened at 2 different schools. Over a course of a number of years. So, no, I don't think it was a string of bad luck. I think he just sucked.
Well, I agree with you. The one stat from Will Muschamp that he can't shake is that every year that he was at a school, their offense got worse, statistically worse each year, as far as, from, going from 4th in the SEC to 9th in the SEC. It was a downward spiral every single place that he went, every year. And to be a good head coach, you got to be at least balanced on both sides of the ball. Now, on the defensive side of the ball, yeah, they were good, and they had NFL players. But offensively, they were the shits. I mean,
yeah.
You know that, Jackpot. You know that.
David says he remembers when Stump Mitchell was tearing it up at the Citadel. Yep. And the first game I ever went to as a Gamecock fan in 1980, when they played the Citadel. That was the first game I ever went to as a Ute, and George Rogers was a featured back for Carolina. Of course, he won the Heisman Trophy that year, by the way. But Stump Mitchell was running back for the Citadel, and Gamecocks won 45-24, and both of them topped I think Rogers eclipsed the 150 mark, and I think Stump Mitchell went for over 100 yards as well. So, yeah.
The thing the Jackpot remembers. All right, our next matchup is Fresno State at Michigan. Michigan is giving up 21.5. There's been a lot of like behind the scenes stuff that's happened to Michigan this past week, where they've been served their papers from the NCAA, which, in my opinion, that doesn't have the same weight that it used to have. I mean, it just doesn't, in my opinion. I mean, Tennessee had how many level 1 violations and got completely off? Oh, here's a fine. They're not going to take the national title from them. Nothing is going to happen to them except Jim Harbaugh can't come back there and coach. I think they beat the holy fuck out of Michigan, Fresno State this weekend. I really believe that.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. Last year we saw the same drama week after week. And I mean, they went out there and just kept on mauling people. Now they bring back what Donovan Edwards is back, right?
Right.
Blake
they don't have McCarthy. They don't have, those guys, but I still think they're just going to be.
Well, the quarterback Orgy, he's a pretty athletic dude. He's a different kind of quarterback than what J.J. McCarthy was. But I think they'll be okay. And Sharon Moore is an offensive-minded head coach, so I think they'll still be putting some points up. So let me roll with. I just didn't have a beat on this game. Fresno State's a good Group of 5 team, though, but I think the safe bet is probably take Michigan and the points at home.
Our next matchup is Boise State.
I think about it, I had a big matchup next week with Texas.
Yeah, maybe they're overlooking.
I actually think I'm gonna roll with Fresno State. I don't think they're going to show everything they have, and which I mean, they're pretty basic, but there may be some wrinkles they pull out for Texas. Fuck it, I'm going to take Fresno State to cover. I think they win by 21. I think that hook gets me.
The hook will get you. All right. Our next matchup is one that Jackpot added here: Boise State at Georgia Southern.
Okay. First, all right. I'm going to kick you off here for real. I'm not bullshitting. You don't tell me what to do on my show. Don't tell me to make up my mind and move on. We can let this thing run for 3 hours if we want to. I take suggestions. I don't take demands.
Yeah.
Use some manners if you're going to come to this stream, by God.
Poor Fireball. All right, Boise State at Georgia Southern. Boise State is the team that a lot of folks think have an outside shot of making the college football playoff as that G5 team. Georgia Southern, they're Georgia Southern. I mean, they're getting 10.5 at home, Jackpot. Boise State doesn't really they don't play well when they travel down south. I looked that up. They just haven't. Now granted, they played much better teams when they've gone down south, but I think 10.5.
They struggled with UCF a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. I'm taking Georgia Southern. I think they're going to try to grind it out, and they'll stay within that 10.5.
My only issue here is Boise State. They got about a 1,300-yard running back from last year, Alshon Jeffrey. I think could give Georgia Southern some problems. But I don't know. I don't know. They got a good coach there, Clay Helton. I mean, well, he didn't do well at USC, but he's done okay at Georgia Southern. It's been all right. I think I'm going to roll with Georgia Southern also. 10.5 is a lot of points at home. So.
All right. Well, and ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we give you the first of the year. Ta-da! Yeah. The Kale Hall shitter. The first one of the year. A veteran of the Kale Hall shitter, UMass, is getting 1.5 at home against Eastern Michigan. I hope you're proud of yourself, Kale, picking this game.
Yeah, UMass has been in the shitter, literally and figuratively, my shitter game more than any team. So, yeah, give us your breakdown on this riveting matchup.
I'm taking UMass at home because they're UMass and they're at home. I'm, I'm I like my thinking with the shitter. It's like I normally take whatever team you go with it, and I'm thinking that on the season you're gonna go half and half. But from what I gather, there's some folks up there that think that UMass might have a quote turning year. And I don't know what a turning year is, but I read something up there from some preview that I read. I'm going to take UMass and get the point and a half, and they may win outright. Who knows? Eastern Michigan.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting thing here. These teams played the past 3 years. UMass has lost the last 3 years to Eastern Michigan, but they've covered all 3 years.
Yeah.
Not so fast, my friend. They're not covering this year. They have no experienced running back. They had a 1,300-yard running back last year. He up and transfers in the offseason to Michigan State. So they're kind of left with nothing. They're seriously nothing. They're like their leading returning rusher besides him has like 100 yards. So they're going to have to rely on probably the throw game there from that quarterback, Tyson Pumachon, formerly of Clemson and Georgia Tech, to carry the weight there. This guy threw 6 touchdowns and 6 picks last year. So not the strongest of stats there. They also gave up about 6 yards per carry last year defensively. That's bad. And I don't see him getting any better. So I'm going to roll with the road team here, Eastern Michigan, the Mighty Eagles, to kind of win this game convincingly.
One of the things they talked about in that preview was the offensive line with Josh Atwood. So you might be right. I don't know, Jackpot. I'm not going to pick Eastern Michigan ever. I'm not going to pick a directional school from Michigan to do anything. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. Now to
when they play a game, they've got to either win or lose still.
Yeah, I'm going to go with UMass. Fuck it. Old Dominion at South Carolina. Old Dominion is getting 17.5. You know, we've kind of talked about this game, Jackpot, but Old Dominion is losing. The bright spot for them is their linebacker that had so many tackles last year. But his other, the Will linebacker, the guy that was next to him, was good enough that he transferred to Michigan State too. But as you said on the show, what was it, Wednesday? If your linebacker is the guy who leads the team in tackles, that means that you are not getting into the backfield at all. I think South Carolina should talk about it on the rundown today. If South Carolina doesn't beat the shit out of them, I mean, you've got to think, what the hell's going on here? I would like to think that Gamecock fans think they cover it easily. And the only reason that it might be close is if in the fourth quarter, Shane Beamer's like, you know what? We're going to put Rocket Sanders on bubble wrap because I want him good for the Kentucky game. I don't want Sellers out there. I want to run another quarterback out there. Even though he didn't do that last year with Spencer Rattler, you know, he doesn't have a good history of that. But I think
he wasn't. I mean, he wasn't really blowing teams out last year either. So
right. Well,
he was either behind or the games were close, so he didn't really have an opportunity.
But honestly, Jackpot, if you could have had it your way, wouldn't you have rather them at least have a couple of series against Clemson for Sellers?
Yeah, hindsight's 2020. I mean, I don't know why they didn't have a package for him in that game. I mean, Spencer's last game. I mean, fuck. I mean, I don't know. Would that have burned up? I mean,
I don't know about on the red shirt thing, but I know that I remember in our preview for the Palmetto Bowl last year, you said something to the effect of Sellers may go out there and get some snaps, and I honestly thought that was going to happen, but that's something maybe Beamer wants. I don't know what he wants to do, but I think South Carolina's going to blow them out. I think they win by 20 plus. I'll take the Gamecocks minus 17.5.
I'm gonna roll the other way, man. I hate to do it, but I'm gonna take ODU. I don't. Last year, I mean, we were unprepared, didn't cover the spread, lost outright as like a I don't remember if we were a short underdog or I think it may have been a pick 'em. And then in 2022, yeah, we covered the spread against Georgia State, but yeah, we had to benefit from 2 block punt for touchdowns to do that. So I don't like these opening games. They seem to have jitters. They don't seem to. South Carolina doesn't seem to play well out of the gate. It takes them a while to get their legs under them for whatever reason. And I mean, hopefully that changes. And if I get this pick wrong and we blow them out, like you say, I mean, I'll gladly take the L on this pick. But I got to roll with the butterflies here and the points.
The butterflies and the points. Well, there you go. Next matchup is probably the biggest matchup of the weekend as far as 2 ranked teams playing each other. Number 1 Georgia, number 14 Clemson. Clemson's getting 13.5. I think that I've said
biggest matchup of ranked teams is A&M and Notre Dame. But anyway, what?
Oh, well, either way, I like. I think Clemson's going to fall away in the fourth quarter. I'm going to take Georgia to cover the 13.5. I think they'll get a touchdown late and win it like.
Yeah, I'm going to take Georgia to cover that number 2. I think Clemson might in the second. I think they're going to have trouble scoring in the second half, and their defense is good, but you can only play. It's only going to. I mean, it's only going to be so long before the dam kind of breaks.
Right.
I mean, Georgia just keeps throwing these waves and waves of NFL talent at you. And I'm not saying the Taters won't keep it close. I think they'll come out there and punch them in the mouth. They might go up early. But I just don't see it being sustainable. I think they lose like 17 to 21 points.
Yep.
Devin Hayes says Clemson will fall away in the first quarter. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, well, and the other thing, too, is that there's the
Lisa asked for a quick recap of picks and that.
Yeah, we can get that for in a second. But is ETN going to play? And even if he does it really matter? That's the other thing.
They'll be going with Branson Robinson, I think, who's been there for a couple of years, but he hasn't.
No, the one guy, I think Robinson's injured.
Roderick Robinson is the one that's injured.
That's right.
Branson Robinson, and then some true freshman. So
it's basically their third string running back that they would run out there, and I don't think it matters though. But
yeah, I don't. Yeah, they don't have that. They just don't have that big name at running back anymore. Well, I mean, I guess ETN would have been.
Yeah, I mean, ETN
they just don't have those big names like they used to have. There's no Todd Gurley's anymore. There's no Nick Chubbs, Sony Michel's. There's no Robert Edwards. There's no, none of these guys walking out. No Jasper Sanks.
Oof. Dan, look where Jack
No Isaiah Crowell.
So let's see here. Last season, Trevor Etienne, I thought he was more than that. He only rushed for 753 yards last year for the Florida offense there. That's pretty interesting.
Well, that's just because he was pretty much 50-50 splitting time with Montrell Johnson. I mean, they truly employed a 2-back offense there.
Well,
so look at
it's
that West Virginia, you got two dudes there who rushed for 800 yards last year. Now I'm not sure. I'd have to look and see if one of them may have been a transfer portal person. I'm not sure, but kind of go. But anyway.
Well, but I think that the other interesting thing is Mario Anderson didn't really start until game 5 or whatever for South Carolina, and he's only finished 46 yards behind ETN. That's kind of interesting.
Well, Mario Anderson broke a lot of long chunk runs, if you'll remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he had a lot of long touchdown run, a long chunk run against Tennessee. He had a couple of other ones. He had a long run against Clemson. Trouble was he kept getting stopped in the backfield and losing yardage so many times. He didn't really reflecting the stat line. But they were critical of him on the old 107.5 the game, which is like that's the typical thing to do with the media, of course. When somebody's does something we don't like or they're not around anymore, to shit on him. That he wasn't as dynamic as what Rocket Sanders is going to be. He was a north-south runner. He didn't have the moves to get into that second level like what we've got coming in right now. And I say bullshit. We never really saw what this guy was capable of doing because he was playing behind the worst fucking offensive line in the SEC.
Well, but also the coaching staff kind of fucked him because we were told that he couldn't pick up the playbook, is what was kind of
the
uttered.
Snub-nosed monkey says, "There we go again with Jackpot mentioning Tennessee." Did I mention? What?
Nobody's mentioned that program on this show tonight. So
no, I really haven't.
Sorry. Anyway, yeah. So I don't know.
Harbaugh says he thinks the South Dakota or the North Dakota State Bison will win if it's close in. I mean, on that game, I kind of do too. Now I don't know who their coach is now. They changed in the offseason, but I mean, it doesn't seem to matter. I mean, they just seem to kind of plug and play even with the head coach, and they got that moxie, Rob. They got moxie. I mean, they just destroy people. So he was Wyoming's OC.
They have a culture of winning, Jackpot. That's what
they absolutely do. Well, last year, as I was mentioning earlier today on a piece I did, they went 7-4 in the regular season, but they turned around and won like 3 or 4 straight games, and made it to the FCS finals, where they lost to the Montana Grizzlies in like double overtime.
Well, yeah, I mentioned that today. They have 9 players returning that were all conference players last year. They've got 4 D1 bounce backs that transferred in. 1 kid from Marshall, 1 kid from Air Force, 2 other guys I can't remember where they were, but they've infused that team with some more talent there. They play a 2-headed monster at quarterback. If I'm Colorado, I don't know if I want any of that noise. I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting game tomorrow night. That's for damn sure. So, quick recap of the picks here, Jackpot. I took West Virginia. You took Penn State, right?
No, you're 0 for 1, sir. I took West Virginia.
Well, let's see if I was listening as a co-host here. Notre Dame at Texas A&M. I took A&M. I think you took A&M.
Yep.
Oh, look at that. LSU and Southern Cal. You took Southern Cal plus the 6.5. I took LSU. You said LSU is going to lose to 2 USCs this year, which is what? Miami at Florida. I took Florida, right?
You did, and so did I.
Virginia Tech at Vanderbilt. You took Vanderbilt. I took Virginia Tech.
Yep.
Southern Miss at Kentucky. We both took Kentucky. Fresno State at Michigan. We both took Michigan. We also
took Fresno State. I flipped my commitment at the end. I flipped to the Bulldogs at the last minute.
That's right. And Fireball was giving you shit and telling you to move on. You told him to pound sand.
Yeah, I told him to fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure he'll get used to it if he comes to the game live streams. I'm sure he'll get told to fuck off a couple of times this year.
Yeah. Georgia Southern plus 10.5. That's who I roll with over Boise State, and that's the same game. You took Eastern Michigan at UMass. I took UMass at home. You took Eastern Michigan.
Eagles fly.
I took South Carolina. You took Old Dominion. And we both rolled with the Georgia Bulldogs. There's our picks.
Does that make me a bad fan? Does that make me a bad fan because I'm pessimistic?
No. You're a smart fan because you've been a Gamecock fan your whole life. And even if the Gamecocks were rolling in as like You've just seen this story before. What's the Mazodcast say? They got the Mizzou Blues or whatever. Like there's
Well, I didn't say it much last year.
but there's the Carolina Blues. I'm
sure it'll come back around again.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. But I just think that with the defensive players that you've got and the veterans that you've got out there, if they can't go out and beat the Monarchs, then y'all are gonna have a shit season. So there's that. Mike says this is for money. You didn't say they would lose. That's true.
Over on the Papa B was talking about Ole Miss there, and that reminded me. I checked the covers.com injury tab again today, and Juice Wells is still up in the air. For the Furman game.
What's wrong with him now? Is his mom yelling at him from the stands again?
Oh, it's a foot injury still.
Problems. Oh, man. What a mess.
I thought it was Jaheim Bell's mom who was yelling at her.
Well, doesn't matter.
What did you hear the Mazodcasts that came out the other day?
I did catch the Mazodcast the other day.
Okay,
yeah.
They were wondering. They'd never heard of Furman before. They asked if it was a furniture store. What?
That's a running bit with them. Every team is the possible Bobcats.
The possible Bearcats. He said, "Well, Old Dominion is the possible Bearcats." So that's definitely got Bearcat vibes.
Yeah.
It's because they called that team last year. They were playing. It was South Dakota. They were like the Coyotes, I think, but they had a paw on the side of their helmet. They said, I guess they're the Bearcats. I don't know.
Murray State is the Racers, by the way.
They are.
Common knowledge, but by the way, former what's the guy that was the walk-on for you guys or not the walk-on? He was like the assistant coach that ended up playing.
Zeb Nolan?
Zeb Nolan is on the Murray State staff.
Oh.
Hold on, let's look this up. Yeah, hold on. I'll look this up really quick because it's
Zebula.
Murray State coaching staff. I think he's the quarterback's coach. Hold on a second.
He he was a coach for us of sorts.
Yeah. All right, so like their head coach, Jody Wright is their head coach.
Yeah, no, he's a former Gamecock assistant.
Ryan Smith is their defensive coordinator. Tyler Zielinski is their special teams coordinator. Yeah, Zeb Nolan is the quarterback coach.
Ryan Holinsky?
I don't know, but Zeb Nolan is your quarterback's coach, sir.
Pete McGaha says Zeb is a homeboy from Waynesville. Well, he must have went to Tuscola. He must have been a mountaineer.
Jalen Dickerson is, he was a defensive assistant at South Carolina for a couple of seasons. Helped develop and mentor 2 freshman All-American selections in 2022, Emanware and DQ Smith, and 2023 freshman All-American Jalon Kilgore. Man, they're loving them some Gamecock stuff up there.
So Murray State's basically a USC junior program.
Basically, let's see here.
They're getting fucked up. Wouldn't it be funny if this bunch of USC junior people beat Mizzou, but the real University of South Carolina wasn't able to do it?
Yeah, that would be some shit there. Like we couldn't beat them with SEC money, but we went in there with our.
We beat them with Ohio Valley Conference money.
Yeah. So this guy went to Middleton. I'm trying to see Dustin Royston coaches the linebackers. Let's see here. Nick Williams is doing the wide receivers. Where is he from? That name seems familiar too.
Who?
Nick Williams was with the Arizona Cardinals, so he's been all over the place. But their head coach and Zeb Nolan is both from the Gamecocks. Ryan Smith, where was he at? Ryan Smith. Oh, he was at Florida A&M for
Possible
5 seasons.
Norfolk State. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's let Jody Wright get the big picture of Jody Wright here. One of the top recruiters and talent developers in the nation. Coached the South Carolina tight ends for 2 seasons. Also worked with the New York Giants as an offensive assistant, coaching the running backs. Coach tight end Trey Knox to a second-team All-SEC honors. Jackpot, we should get you a Racers hat.
That's their calling card. It should have in there moved Gatorade cooler out of the way after Coach kicked it over.
Jackpot, would you wear a Racer hat?
Well, I mean, I wear a Penn State, a Messiah cast.
I mean, you've got love for them though. Like, you couldn't even tell me what part of where Murray State is in Kentucky. I'm sure.
Yeah, it's in Murray, Kentucky.
No, is it in the western part? Is it in the eastern part? Where do you think it is?
It is east of Lexington.
It's in western Kentucky, though, the western Kentucky part. But there you go. I was looking to see if we could find a Murray State hat for you. We should get you a Murray State hat.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of Morehead State is that way.
Yeah, no, they're in the western part. I used to live in Murray, so I kind of know. So
you lived there?
I lived in Murray, yes.
What were you doing there?
Well, my dad's from there. My dad went to Callaway County High School, which is right there in Murray.
Growing tobacco?
No, I cut tobacco there, though. I've actually cut tobacco. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, so there's our picks.
Good evening, Zona Tucson. Good evening.
Good evening. All right, let's take some calls before we get out of here. Probably get some Murray State gear just down the road from you in Morant's stomping grounds, Rob. Well, he's talking about Ja Morant. You also might get shot with a 22 because that's the kind of gun that he carries. All right, there's the link if you want to join the program.
Western Kentucky is in the western part of Kentucky, and eastern Kentucky is in the east. Good job, Billy.
Thanks, Billy.
Eastern Kentucky is where Cash Daniel hails from.
Good point, sir. Good point.
Pikeville. Paintsville. Paintsville, Kentucky is where Trash Daniels is from, not Pikeville.
Paintsville. Okay, well, there you go. All right, Jackpot. I now that we've had our thing with the Kentucky portion of it, any other games that you like this weekend?
I mean, I like them all. I'm looking at some upset specials. I mean, what's your feelings on? I'm trying to find a barking underdog here to make some money on. What's your thoughts on Stanford on the money line being able to upset TCU at home?
The tree's terrible. I don't think I would go that far.
No, I mean, they're only a 9-point dog, and they haven't improved.
Well, that's not. I mean, that's not a bad one. I mean, we should do that. We should do the Jackpot's dog of the week. By the way, why not?
I'm trying to find. I still think Vandy is a barking dog.
To win outright.
Outright. It's one of the biggest wins in years up there.
All right, Rob.
I don't know if they got the squad to do it. They don't have any receivers that anyone's ever heard of. They don't, Will Shepard's gone. That old shithead from Lawrence who was supposed to come to Carolina that went to Boston College I don't know. And also Florida State too. They better be with their head on a swivel on Monday night against Boston College. Because that little quarterback might fuck them up.
Yeah, they got a good quarterback. Well, and you want to know another game not a lot of people are talking about is that North Carolina Minnesota game.
Oh, I was talking about it earlier.
Were you? I missed that part.
I think Minnesota goes outright.
That's what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. North Carolina's got a lot of questions to answer,
about-
especially without May. And I'm not sure how bought in Mac Brown is at this point. I mean, that dude is old as fucking dirt.
Well, they're
I've got a pick here,
Max
Jackpot.
Johnson is their starting quarterback. That's the guy. That's that guy from TCU. He's nothing special.
No, he's not. He's not.
South Dakota State is a 9.5-point dog on the road at Oklahoma State. That might be interesting. South Dakota State's one of those teams that like
South Dakota State is what North Dakota State was like 3 or 4 years ago.
right, but I mean they have that culture of winning too, and they got a bunch of little fellas that have big chips on their shoulders.
No, South
Yeah, the
Dakota State's going to
Jackrabbits
get.
go in there and
They're going to get dog walked by Oklahoma State. Let's be honest.
Jackpot's Jackrabbit.
I'm looking at some lines here.
Am I wrong, or is it Oklahoma State that has that Gordon the third
Ollie
running back?
Gordon.
Yeah, but he's not going to be jacked up for that game.
Dude, he's got to make his money, man. This is his draft year. If I'm
Well, hopefully some
remembering
people
correct.
get out there and get that QR code with those helmets.
I'm not even that upset at that. That's how NIL should have been done in the first place, if you ask me. It should have been jersey sales, and if you donate straight to the athlete. I've got no problem with that. But when you compound that with the fact that these motherfuckers are essentially getting, a golf cart, a French bulldog, an espresso machine, and a fucking track hawk 2024.
A French bulldog? Who got that?
They Clemson gave Xavier Thomas a damn French bulldog. Isn't that crazy?
Well, probably dead already. Yeah, that lazy sumbitch ain't took care of no dog.
Yeah, they gave his ass a French bulldog. They're giving these athletes everything. I would have had no problem.
They probably lost it. Hell, he lost his damn car that time. Remember, he left the keys laying somewhere, and somebody took it for a joyride.
Actually,
so I
believe it or
guarantee
not,
that dog is gone.
He put on on Snapchat. He was getting somebody. He put it up for adoption over social media. So you're not fully wrong about that. But what's y'all's opinion?
No, he got drafted.
Yeah, well, I think that's why he got rid of the dog. But what's y'all's opinion on what I was saying, where that's kind of how NIL should have been from the get-go?
That doesn't bother me. I'm at the point now where there's not much we can do about it, so fuck them.
Brandon.
Yeah.
Brandon says old Dominion will score at least 21 on the Coots.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, that's fake news.
Based off of what? I mean, people just say stuff and there's no backing to it at all. They just say shit just to say shit at this point. It doesn't make much sense. I mean, literally, what are you Brandon, have you seen a single ODU game?
They're going to get crushed.
Yeah, I mean,
they'll probably score 10 points.
I'll give them
13. 10. I think Carolina wins like 28-13. That's why I took them in the 17.5.
I think that's fair, 28-13. The thing is, I believe ODU. Rob was telling me they gave it 60 sacks last year.
Yep, something like that. Their quarterback was always. I mean,
that sounds like some of our numbers. I mean, we were on our way.
You're on your way. They led the conference in their quarterback getting hit. Is what I read. 60 total sacks. I think they were like first or second, but as far as their quarterback getting hit, he was the most hit in the conference. So there's that.
Yes, Jerry, I'm gonna be streaming the game. Yes, sir.
Well, I know what y'all were saying with the Florida. I think I'm leaning more towards Miami personally. I forget which one. Who picked Florida? Who was it that picked Florida?
We didn't pick. Both of us picked Florida.
Okay. I understand Miami's been a huge hype job, and it's probably pretty similar to FSU, but at quarterback alone, all right? Quarterback alone, I think, separates them from the FSU method. They went out, they got an established quarterback. Granted, he hasn't played ACC reps, but come on, it ain't that much different, let's be honest. They didn't go out and get a fucking running back at quarterback. They're gonna have a confident offense this year. And wasn't if I'm not wrong, wasn't that Miami? Didn't Miami start coming on kind of late on in the year last year?
Their coach is a Dumbo.
They lost the bowl game to Rutgers.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I didn't know
But
that.
yes, yeah, you're right. I think they did. They won like their last 4 games, and
You lose a
And they
bowl
lost
game to
Rut-
Tony Soprano's school. I don't have any respect for you.
Hey, that's where football started, man. Come on, put some
Sure.
respect on
it
the
is.
Scarlet
It's
Knights.
painted on the inside of the stadium. If you saw that video
Cool.
I did a few years ago, it's a big mural in there. It says the birthplace of college football.
Rob's just a hater of anything not orange and purple. I mean, you can't
Regalia,
appreciate
sir.
the Scarlet Knights.
Regalia, sir. It's orange and regalia. Get it right.
It's purple, man. Come on, it's purple.
Say whatever you want to say. It's regalia.
Well, I was looking down.
I
I was looking down the slate. What do y'all think of this Georgia Tech Georgia State matchup? I think Georgia Tech comes out and lays an egg after that performance they put on. I think they might lose
I would
outright.
have, but you got to think too. Georgia State's dealing with a new head coach, and they didn't have a spring practice.
right. I mean,
forgot
think of
about
it.
that.
Jackpot's got a good
So-
point there. Think of it this way: your head coach
Because Elliott left late.
decided- Yeah, your head coach decided to leave a week before spring practice to go be the run coordinator for Shane Beamer. That's what he thought. I'm the head man here, but you know what? It's a better job to go coach for the guy that kicks Gatorade coolers.
Well, you
Please
know what I
understand.
heard? You know what I heard, Rob?
What?
I heard what set him over as far as the decision to leave was Marcus Carroll going to Missouri. A running back who he had coached up for what 3 years.
And he
and then
also had a wide receiver, Robert Lewis, that left and went to Auburn.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
I can.
Yeah,
I
he
can,
was tired of. He was just tired of the rat race, the bullshit. Tired of having to recruit his roster every year. Don't blame him.
And at this point, why would you want to be a head coach? If we're really being honest, you can come in as a assistant, still make great money. You don't have near the responsibility.
I wonder.
I
Like,
don't
hold
think it's
on.
that big of a step down.
I'm gonna look and see if we can find Sean Elliott's salary. See what it was. Because
Jerry
he's-
Wells says, "Do I think Elliott will lean heavy on Greg Atkins?" No, I don't, because he's better than Greg Atkins. If I was done, just get out of my way.
Kale, I never got your opinion on old Nick Harbor at a kick return. What do you think about that?
Is he going to be the kick returner? I thought
It's him and Juju. I mean, they're gonna have them both back there.
I mean, if he can get a damn head of steam going, I think it's great. I mean, but here's my thing. I mean, if he's just fast, I mean, he's got to be able to break some tackles, and he's got to be able to have. Does he have the moves to get out into space? Is my thing.
That's fair. The change of directions.
And he
We
just
know
runs
he can go north and
He
south.
just runs straight up the middle, and he's running fast, or runs for the sideline, and he's running fast. I mean, he ain't gonna do shit. But if he's got some moves, he can make one person miss. Yeah, I mean, he's taking it to the house.
Well,
I have to stand corrected on this. Georgia State was paying him $750,000. He went to South Carolina with less responsibility, and he's getting paid $750,000.
that's what I'm saying.
Sean Elliott's he's a smart dude.
He's a smart
Hey,
motherfucker.
guess what? If the team sucks, we're going to blame it on the Gatorade cooler kicker. It's had nothing to do
Exactly
with me.
right. And well,
Well,
and today,
I admire Sean Elliott.
and
Why
coaching
not?
so much harder today, just with the fact that you got to re-recruit your whole roster throughout the year. You know what I mean?
If
Who would
that
wanna do
offensive line, that running game improves by, let's say, 5%, and the Gamecocks still finish, 5-7, he should be named like the assistant coach of the year, and he'll move on to a head coaching job then.
I don't know about that. I think he's found his resting spot. I don't think he wants to go anywhere else.
I'm picking at you. I kind of agree with what Billy said. They probably were like, look, we should have kept him instead of Muschamp, because I stand behind this. Sean Elliott would have had the same record that Will Muschamp had, period. Across the board. He would have figured it out. The first season may have been the shits, but after that, they would have been fine. and he probably still would be coaching there. The guy's from Camden, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
The
He
thing
didn't even
is,
move his family out of Camden. He just
Ray
man.
Tanner was scared to hire the local favorite, but then he goes out and does the same thing with the Beamer hire. That's what I don't understand. He does the exact opposite thing of what he was too scared to fucking do when it came to Elliott. When Elliott probably deserved the damn job. And then we go completely in the reverse on the next hire. So
Well, but they had the whole. Remember, they had Jackpot. They had the whole thing of like, Shane Beamer's coming home and blah blah blah. You think they couldn't have done the same shit with Sean Elliott?
well, that's what I'm saying.
This man was born within a stone's throw of Williams-Brice Stadium. He came to games as a kid, growed up right here at Williams-Brice Stadium, and you know what? He gets to lead those Gamecocks out now. Yes, sir. This is a guy that has been tutored by, the Spurriers of the world. He understands all of this. They could have done all that, but certain people don't like him. Let's go get Muschamp, because the Muschamp's a bigger name.
Well, Kale, also, I wanted to ask you about this. What do you think about pretty much all our wide receivers are going to be transfers this year, and it kind of seems like Luke Doty in his senior year has been pushed out, completely out of playtime. I mean, what do you think about that, just having a completely revamped wide receiver room this year?
I mean, it just depends. I mean, it depends on how they've gelled with Norris Sellers and the coaching staff. I mean, I haven't heard anything but good things about these guys. So,
who do you think? You think Vandravius is gonna? I've heard some good things about Jared Brown, but I know you're
projected to be a starter, and then Gage, who was they said was injured, banged up, whatever. He's in the starting lineup. I mean, he's projected, so apparently he's okay too. But yeah, I don't know with Doty. I don't know why he's pushed down the depth chart. I mean, he may just not be as good as these guys.
Yeah, well, and it kind of sucks to see. I mean, he's the kind of player you kind of wish would take advantage of the transfer portal. I get being loyal, but when you get pushed that far down in the depth chart, that's what the portal's open for. So you can go somewhere like a Western Carolina.
Yeah, I
like
almost wish he had left. I almost wish he'd left a couple of years ago when Spencer came. Be honest with you.
Yeah.
See, because I mean, I'm not selfish. I don't want to hold on to somebody just to have them on to clog up a roster spot.
Exactly right.
Before we can say, oh, he's loyal. He's Gamecock man. He's loyal. No, I mean, go be great.
I agree completely with you, and like I said, that's what the portal's for. It's for the athletes like that.
I mean, hell, I mean, and who knows? I mean, he really could be actually good. I mean, and he may be underutilized. I mean, it's been proven that our coaching staff's not always not a bunch of bumbling bumfucks. So,
yeah, and I'll mention this. Brock earlier in Rob's live stream had a comment I wanted to bring up. He was talking about Dylan Stewart. I don't know if you saw. He's not projected to see much game time at all. What do you think that speaks to the depth that we're looking to have on the defensive end position this year?
Well, I think that Kyle Kennard from Georgia Tech, I think he's going to be a special player. So he's going to get his reps, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, especially late
season. But I mean, it's nice to have some depth there. Where you don't have
Clowney didn't start week one. Let's remember that. Clowney didn't start week one. So
that was an extra stat D line. I'm not sure our D line's as good as that one.
It wasn't. But I was at that game when he. I was there. I was at that game when he actually got in the game. It was like the second quarter.
Actually,
me and Jackpot Jr. were looking for him.
If you remember,
he was like towered above everybody else.
Do you remember Byron Jeradu?
Yes.
He's actually on the staff at Georgia Tech. I saw too. That jogged my memory because he was on that same D line. But Yeah, a bunch of Gamecocks are starting to get into coaching lately. Hopefully they,
We
you
should.
know,
I think we should rename the Murray State like South Carolina North.
South
Let's
Carolina
Let's
North.
call them the Bantams.
The
Now, like
Bantams.
USC Union is the Bantams, which is like a baby rooster.
Union. I've only been to Union one time, and I'm
A
glad it was
Bantam
only
is a
one.
baby
That was
rooster.
enough, probably. Wasn't it?
That was plenty enough.
Yeah.
Union is not the. Let's just put it this way: it's not the best part of South Carolina.
No, it's
We'll
not.
just leave it at that.
Not a lot going on there.
Which, Rob, I didn't hear you address this too much, so I want to ask you again. What do you think about if your wide receiver core is going to be, strictly freshmen? The top two you brought in two decent ones, if I'm not mistaken, right? It was what, TJ Moore and
Allegedly.
yeah, allegedly. What do you think that says to the just the outlook of your offense if you're bringing these guys in that young to play in both?
It's not good. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say here. Like I have like they were talking about all these guys at ACC kickoff and how that they expect them to make plays and all that. I got nothing, man.
Well, how disappointed have you been in the and just the seeming? It seems like that room has degraded a lot over the past couple of years. How disappointed have you been?
It hasn't been good since T. Higgins left. They don't have a great breakout wide receiver. They don't have anybody on that wide receiver core that. That's why I like Briggenstool's the tight end.
He's probably our best skill position player.
Well, no, the best skill position player is Maffa, but as far as
I mean, like catching the ball, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's the best at doing that. But I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke, man. The wide receiver room is definitely an issue, and Grisham better get it right, or he may have to go.
Yeah, how long has he been y'all's wide receiver coach?
A day too long.
That's probably a good answer. Oh, and I typed this out. What do y'all think of this? South Carolina might have taken a better transfer quarterback than Florida State. What do y'all think of that?
It's not saying much.
Robbie Ashford, I think, is better than the Uke. I'll go to my grave pondering how Florida State got that so wrong with how much talent was in the quarterback transfer market this year. I will never understand it. There were so many good pieces out in the quarterback market this year, and they said,
"Does Sammy Brown show out in the Georgia game?" I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of snaps, to be honest. He may get
probably not at linebacker.
He'll probably play on special teams, but I don't. You're not going to start. If they're rolling him out there like in the second series, they've got issues. I mean, I believe that. Unless there's some sort of scheme to have him out there, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know about the ukulele and Mike Norvell. I don't understand the whole thing with the ukulele and bringing him in. I don't know if Mike Norvell was like, I can rehabilitate this guy. Look at him. He's a specimen. Dude's a freak. I can do something with him. This would be another feather in my cap, another notch on my belt buckle, yada, yada, yada. Or if he's like, look, he's smart, he knows how to read a defense. He's, can understand, he can pick up the playbook, he can hand the ball off and be a game manager quarterback for us. That I don't think he thought this running game was going to be shit. And those guys are terrible.
Well, I mean,
his offensive line was terrible, so therefore his running game was terrible.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, still, you look at Duke, man. Duke got Malik Murphy. Malik Murphy's a fucking baller. How's Malik Murphy picking? I could tell you that a month ago. You know what I mean?
Duke's on a roll. Manny Diaz is kicking ass and taking names. He just took that kid from Clemson like he was taking candy from a baby.
I'm looking at all the transfers now. You got Julian Sayin, Dante Moore, Vandergriff, Malik Murray, Will Howard, Riley Leonard, Austin Mack, Dylan Gabriel, Kyler McCord, Will Rogers. I mean, all these guys. Hell, Tyler Van Dyke at Miami had a better season probably than the Ute.
Yeah,
They're
I
just
would have
keeping it
taken any
above.
of those guys over him, but
Yeah, I don't get it, man. But I mean, that's just typical Florida State. That's what you get when you take fucking 40 transfers, build your team off a fucking house of cards. That's the one thing Clemson will not die on is mercenaries, and I can somewhat respect that. But I think the sweet spot's around like 13 transfers per year. I don't know what y'all think about that, but
yeah, I mean, you can't be Colorado. That's my thing about. Here's my saying with the transfer portal: you can't be Colorado, but you can't be Clemson.
yeah. Well, and that's another thing I wanted to say. I think Colorado will cover the spread. I think there's a lot of emphasis being placed on the homer picks, you know. But I
Yeah,
think
but my
there's
thing
some.
about them is they've got two NFL players in Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. Outside of that, I mean, can you name any of their other players?
Well, I believe Shiloh Sanders is a mid-round pick,
Oh well, okay.
and I think that Jordan Seaton they just got. I think he's going to be in
Isn't
the
Shiloh
NFL.
like 35 years old now?
I was about to say
Yeah.
Shiloh's been around so long, they should just
Yeah.
pretty much tell him, hey, you're either graduating to the NFL or you.
He also I don't know if y'all saw this.
It's
He
his
declared
8th year
bankruptcy.
Yeah, it's his 8th year of playing college football, and he's a second.
He declared bankruptcy because he got sued because he beat up a security guard when he was in high school because he was being a punk ass. So now he's declared bankruptcy,
To
so
not
he
pay
doesn't
him.
have to pay it, but he's riding around in a Lamborghini.
And the thing is, I think it was his cousin. I'm pretty sure it was his cousin that sued him. So he
Who, the
declared
security guard?
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus.
I think it was his
that's what
fucking
I'm
cousin.
doing.
Okay, well then that makes sense. Yeah, because his cousin knows he's got money. So
Yeah.
8 years in college, second semester freshman. The guy's
Hey,
a coach.
it worked out good for Michael Penix. You know what I'm saying? First round pick.
Are you implying that he's a second semester freshman after 7 years in college? Is that what you're going for?
No, I'm just saying sometimes you gotta take the long route. All right. I'm pretty sure Stetson Bennett and Lamar Jackson were in the same high school class.
shit.
Did y'all know that?
Probably.
Yeah, he don't damn way. He ain't that damn old.
No, look it up. I'm pretty sure.
Dude,
Oh,
Lamar Jackson would have been like class of 2014.
I might be way off then.
No, you're off by several years.
Hold on, I'm checking it out right now.
Lamar
Stetson
Jackson's
Bennett-
young. Lamar
Stetson
Jackson's young.
is 26.
That's how old Lamar is.
Lamar
telling you.
Jackson, that jackpot, he may be. Well, no, because Lamar Jackson was in.
Look up his age.
Lamar Jackson's 27.
So hey, come on now. Come on now.
So Lamar Jackson was born in January of 1997. Bennett was born in October, so they're like 3 months apart. So
Yeah, they were in the same.
Yeah,
fucking
January to
class.
October is not 3 months, but
well, all right, November, December, and January.
He graduated.
October 28th to
He
January.
graduated.
2nd.
Lamar Jackson graduated in 2015.
huh?
Let me see when Stetson Bennett graduated.
Rob, you go from January to October. You don't go backwards.
Oh, I was thinking 98. You're right, jackpot. 9 months then.
No. Okay, so I am a little off. I'm a little
They're
off.
further. They're far enough apart to
I'm a
birth
little
a
off.
baby.
I'm a little off. So they graduated 2 years apart. 2 years apart.
Yeah,
Still
'cause that
though.
can happen.
When you think about it, that's crazy. Sometimes the long route's all you need. While Lamar's out winning MVPs, Stetson's just flourishing under the Kirby Smart offense.
No, Stetson Bennett has drank more beer than all of those guys put together.
Well, moving back to the ODU game, I think we come
one of
out.
them, Biscuit with the comment of the night.
What do you say?
One of them won 2 national titles. Very good, sir. Very good.
That's true.
Funny.
That's true. But I think we come out. I think we'll start a little slow. I'm giving Lenoris a pretty loose Like I'm throwing the line out pretty far for him. He's got some slack with me in this first game. All right. I don't think he'll come out.
Think he's going
light
to be
up.
fast and loose?
I think in the second half we'll see that. I think in the first half it might look a little tight. The timing might be a little off, especially when you account for all three of our starting wide receivers on paper at least are going to be transfers. These guys have a summer to learn the offense. All right. I don't expect to see a very complex game plan for this game. I think we're just going to come in, drop our nuts, and dominate the lines of scrimmage. What do you think about that?
Should be a basic game plan.
The real question is, who we play Kentucky next week, right?
Yes.
Sure.
How bad are we going to beat Kentucky? That's what I'm wondering at this point, because
PDB, pretty damn bad.
Mark Stoops, he's been a coach I haven't liked for a couple years now. He's a piece of shit.
I haven't liked him for 10 years.
He's the king of
I never liked him.
No, he's the king of 7 or 8 wins. All right, he looks like an old middle school PE coach. All right, the dude doesn't know how to coach a quality football team.
That's a human baked potato.
He got lightning in a bottle with Will Levis. Okay, you don't got Will Levis no more. You got Georgia's fucking scraps, Brock Vanderbilt. Which, by the way, I haven't talked about the Georgia Clemson game yet. How bad is Georgia gonna beat that ass? Oh my gosh. This might be. I seriously think y'all will be calling for Cade's head after this game. I think we're gonna hear the Vicina chants, in our fucking TV speakers by the third quarter. What do you think about
Bridges
that, Rob?
says Vandergrift gonna light Carolina up. Dude, your boy Carson Beck didn't even light South Carolina up.
Yeah. Vandergrift
What makes you
got
think
beat
this
out.
cast off is something special?
Vandergrift ran
Stop.
with his fucking tail in between his legs from
Stop. You don't
Gunner
believe
Stockton. Gunner Stockton. He couldn't beat out Gunner Stockton. Gunner Stockton hadn't seen the fucking field in 3 years. All right. But Clemson, you're getting your ass kicked, Rob. I don't know why you think this game's going to be close.
I never said that, dude.
O'Donnell
You said it was gonna be low scoring.
Nick and Warrior gonna lock them boys
I
down.
picked Georgia to cover 2 touchdowns, man. It's not fucking close.
But you said it was
Why
going to
is it just? You know what? Big Barney Ross was right about you, man.
What do you say?
You eat your Snickers backwards so you can feel the veins in them.
Is
All
that
right,
so?
Upside down.
It's the way it is. Upside
Well,
down.
You can
Exactly.
say that, Rob, but only one of us is going to be walking away with a week 1 dub. All right?
Well,
And-
only one of us is playing a fucking school that Jackpot thinks they're the monarch butterflies, when actually they're the monarchs like royalty. And there are a lot of people that think they are the monarch butterflies. I'd love to get off playing a shit school. We don't get to do that to the last game of the season, though.
Rob, we played Georgia every year and didn't complain about it. You complain about fucking
I'm not
NC
complaining
State,
about playing them.
Duke.
I don't complain about NC State. I don't complain about Duke. You're making up stuff.
You
again.
just said you don't play another hard game.
Yeah, they're
Until-
like, yeah, they
until
did.
South
They
Carolina.
bitch. They said, oh, God,
Yeah.
dang. Like, we got to go to Raleigh this week, then we get a bye week. We got to turn around and go to Winston-Salem.
Exactly.
And wait for it.
Nobody's ever said that. Nobody's ever said that, but go ahead.
That's
Make
the
up
point
whatever
we're
you
making.
want.
That's the point. I was being sarcastic. That's the point we're making.
Nobody's
don't have to
nobody
worry.
makes any comments like that.
You don't have to worry about playing good teams. So when you finally do play a good team, it's like, oh, we gotta play a good team. I feel bad for us. We're playing Georgia. Cry for us. All right. Put us in your diary. Pray for us.
Whatever it is that you need to tell yourself to try to validate your horseshit program, sir. Go ahead.
I don't know if we're horseshit. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah. Whatever it is you need to tell yourself.
Pete Limbo's making his debut as a head coach at Buffalo tomorrow night against the Lafayette Leopards.
Pete Limbo got that. If I'm not mistaken, he got a really good quarterback transfer from New Hampshire. I think he led FBS in pretty much every statistical category.
Yeah, Pete's going to have Buffalo on fleek. Arkansas is taking on
Is that Billy Cole?
Arkansas.
How you doing, Billy Cole?
Peanut butter.
Didn't somebody make a comment a minute about somebody's going to beat somebody bad, just like you did, and you reamed the kid out? Based on what? Why is Georgia going to blow Clemson out? Tell us.
Because they've been to the playoffs
That ain't
fucking
got
like
nothing
4
to do
times
with
over the
anything.
past 5 years. They got the best roster in college football.
So
Arguably
you're one
the
of
best
these
coach in
people
college
that
football.
go. So you're one of these people that goes with history and the stadium stats and all this other stuff. Why don't you
I
just
go with
use
recent
this year?
history.
Just go with this year. Tell us this year why Clemson's going to get blown out by Georgia.
I don't quite understand what you're asking, Billy.
Based on this year, not history. This year's team. Why is
So fuck everything that happened last year. That just doesn't matter. That has no influence on the team that's being fielded this year, right?
They
Exactly.
did it to Oregon the other year. Why can't they do the same to Clemson? Okay.
Tell us why Georgia is going to blow Clemson out this year?
I'm keeping all of these for the bookcase of accountability because all of them are just
Billy,
stupid.
you do realize this is the same Georgia team that won like 11 games last year, right?
Okay.
How many games did Clemson win, Billy?
Missouri
Versus
won
a much
11
weaker
games last
schedule.
year.
Missouri won 11.
Who had the harder schedule between Georgia and Missouri?
So you're saying this year that
Oh, no, I'm not going to answer all your questions. Answer my question. Who had the
No.
harder schedule between Georgia and Missouri?
Missouri could not help that
Who opened up with Oregon? Who opened up with Oregon? Who had the harder schedule between Georgia and Missouri?
That doesn't matter.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
I want to know
Okay.
why this year. Tell me
Okay, it doesn't
specifically. Is it Georgia's quarterback?
Billy, your
it their running
criteria
back?
is something you pulled right out of your ass.
Is
I
it
think
their
they're the
defense?
team they were
I'll help
returning
you
from
out
last
here.
year.
I'll help you out here. Rob has SEC bias. Todd over in the comment section said it pretty much what I was thinking here. Georgia's depth.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're returning one of the best quarterbacks in the
Okay.
country.
Okay. But don't go
Well,
with
what more do you
has
need?
a lot
they've
depth.
won 2 national championships and their stadium is this size and their stadium sells better hot dogs. No, tell me this year. What is it about Georgia's team this year?
They
Ain't
have one
nobody
of the
saying
best
sell better hot
quarterbacks in
dogs
the
than
country.
Taters.
Okay.
They have one of the best D lines in the country.
Okay.
They probably have the best secondary, and they have the best defense as a whole in the country.
Okay. So Clemson don't. They're not. They shouldn't even show up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they should show up and take the ass whooping they're about to be dealt.
Well, and once again, I would expect that from a Stuck Cock fan because
Well,
you
they
don't
deserve
chalk up
each and every bit of that.
So, Rob, you think they're going to win?
Exactly. You don't get to
Well-
chalk up any year where you can walk in and say, you know what, we're going to beat Clemson.
So,
When you
Billy,
do it, it's
Billy,
fluke.
put Billy
Hold
on the
on,
bookcase of accountability.
hold on,
Billy
hold
thinks Clemson.
Hold on, shut up.
Clemson will
Shut
cover.
up. I'm talking. When you win, you make fucking Christmas ornaments. It's a fluke. Okay? Just remember that. You don't go into any season thinking, my God, we're going to beat the shit out of Clemson this year. It's, holy fuck, we hope we can beat them. Then we'll get new Christmas ornaments. That's how things go with you. Don't start. Okay, now you can speak.
And see, he's already tried to weasel in this. Well, we've got freshman wide receivers, and don't be doing that. Don't be doing that.
I didn't
That's
say
your
anything
team.
about freshman wide receivers, you schmuck.
Or whatever that your wide receiver room or maybe Sellers
asked-
maybe hasn't
what are you
meshed with
talking
it.
about?
He's been there 2 years.
Clearly, this guy hasn't been listening.
I
Clearly,
don't
this
want to
guy
hear
hasn't
any
been listening.
excuses when y'all
You need
lose
to
the game.
turn up the volume on your headset. I put on my
No.
headset to match you,
No,
Billy.
Opie,
We
tonight.
have
I'm telling you,
transfer.
don't
We got
start-
transfer.
We
wide
got transfer
receivers.
wide receivers, and I
There
didn't
you
say
go.
anything about them holding us back.
Clemson has freshman wide.
I made the comparison
they're
between
10 stars,
Clemson,
from what I understand.
Clemson's wide receivers room, and
Yeah.
South Carolina's wide receiver
So
room.
the transfers haven't had time to develop a relationship and timing, and I see all this coming. That's
Do
your
you, Billy?
team. If you don't have wide receivers, that's Beamer's fault.
Who
That's
said
his
we didn't
fault.
have wide receivers?
You had transfer portals. You're
Who
making
said we didn't have
excuse-
wide receivers?
You're coming in the transfer portal. Did you not say that?
Who said we didn't? Yeah,
Did you
that
not
would
say-
clearly be me saying we have wide receivers. Are you dumb?
From the transfer portal,
Yeah.
and we don't know if they've
So put
learned the
2 and 2
playbook.
together. If I'm talking about us getting wide receivers from the transfer portal, clearly
I'll
I'm
tell you
talking about
what.
us acquiring talent.
I tell you what, every time you come on here, if just like this Saturday, if and South Carolina will win big, Beamer will not run the score, but I don't want to hear any excuses. That's what I'm saying.
Billy, when have you heard excuses from the South Carolina man?
Well, we'll see.
Because
We'll
I can
see.
name some excuses I've heard from the Tennessee man if we're on that
We'll,
topic.
we will listen. I don't want
Isn't one of the biggest Tennessee YouTubers still crying about a loss from 2 years ago?
That's him.
You need to
Go-
scroll.
You need to go on the channel with him and debate him. I don't care about it.
Why would I go on
You
another
gotta-
team's channel?
Well, you need to go debate him about it. I don't care.
I don't come on here to
So-
stir shit with other teams. If
I
y'all want to
don't
talk
either.
shit to me,
I don't.
I'm
either.
gonna give it right back. I'm a goddamn South Carolina man. You think my skin ain't
Well,
thick?
go over there and debate him about it.
I don't need to. That's like debating my schizophrenic uncle that there's not a fucking apparition in the closet. I mean,
Let me
I'm not
just
gonna
ask
go
you this
in.
question about all that. Is this still under investigation?
I have no clue. I didn't even know there was an investigation started.
So you're talking about something you know nothing about.
Clearly, Billy. Yeah, I know nothing
It's
about
clear.
us putting sand on the field.
No.
Us stealing your signals, Billy.
Why-
I know nothing about it.
Why did Harbaugh get fired?
I don't know. Why did he get fired? I thought he left for the NFL.
No, he got NCAA.
Oh, did he?
left.
So he
and
didn't
then-
just leave for the
So
NFL?
you don't know nothing about this, but you're coming on
Okay.
here talking
So
about.
he didn't take a big pay rise and go leave for the NFL.
Yeah,
Billy?
he did.
He took a
did.
pay
Okay.
raise,
He-
left for the NFL. He's got
He
a
did.
show cause.
If
before
that's
he
getting
come back to
fired,
college, which
if
he
that's
won't
getting
do
fired, sign
anyway,
me up.
so-
If taking a pay raise and going to the NFL,
Oh
that sounds
my
like getting
God.
promoted, Billy.
You-
That's what that sounds like to me.
Did Connor Stallions get fired? Why did he get
Yeah.
fired for? Why did he get fired?
I don't know. You tell me, Billy.
You don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't know. You tell
You
me.
don't know.
No, I
That
don't
says
know.
it all right
Hey,
there.
he had a documentary on Netflix that came out yesterday.
I didn't see
Did
that. I
anybody
don't have
watch it?
Netflix.
Hey,
I don't
Billy,
have-
what's going to be your excuse when y'all shit the bed this year?
Did he talk about South Carolina
Well-
in the documentary?
I don't know. Is 10-2 shit in the bed?
Yeah. I'd
Okay.
say for the amount of money y'all are spending, 10-2 shit in the bed.
Oh God! Always with the excuses. Are
Is that
you
an
crying about
excuse?
money? Why don't y'all have money?
We got plenty of money, Billy.
Well, you better start.
We
Spending
might not
it.
have
You better
have
start spending
2025 Honda Pilot money,
it. You,
but we
you
got
need to
track
get-
hawk money.
You need to get rid of them 5 place kickers and 4 long snappers and start getting some wide
No.
receivers in there.
We are a special teams threat. That's what you
Oh,
don't understand,
yeah.
Billy. That's why you're not going to be successful because you forget 1/3 of the game. All right, Tennessee
5
forgets
place
1/3
kickers.
of the game.
5
We are a
place
special
kickers
teams
and 4 long snappers and a punter. You do have a punter,
Mhm.
but anyway, I'm glad the game is fixing to be played. I'm just all this analyst and all this stuff. And we seen the perfect example last Saturday. Florida State, ranked number 10, walked out there and lost to an unranked team. Hey, did
Billy,
y'all know
I was-
that Big Barney Ross did the statistics with the AI stuff, and it come out his stuff said Georgia Tech would win. Isn't that amazing? He was on Rooster's channel early, and he was explaining all that stuff, how it works and stuff. And the computer models had Georgia Tech winning.
Billy, how are you going to sit here though and use that same argument for this Georgia Clemson game when Florida State was a team full of mercenaries completely? Georgia is homegrown talent.
What I pointed out was earlier in the comments, a young man made a statement, and you called all over him for making the statement.
Yeah.
I just
What-
wanted to know. I wanted you to verify and tell me, validate.
And what'd he say, Billy?
What was it that how Georgia was? Clemson didn't have a chance. I wanted to hear, and
And
you
I told
answered it.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I
you
told
started out with their stadium's bigger and the history.
I didn't say
and
anything
all
about
that.
their stadium or their history.
He was bringing
What are you
up
talking about?
Can I
irrelevant stuff.
interrupt you? Two? Oh,
Yeah.
can I interrupt you two for just
Yeah,
a
go
second?
ahead.
To prove that dum-dums just spew nonsense, Florida State and Georgia Tech will beat Clemson. Georgia Tech is not on the fucking Clemson schedule. How the fuck are they going to beat them when they don't fucking play? You're just spewing shit. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
You might play them in the ACC championship
Rob,
game.
They might, but they might not. They're not on the schedule as of right now.
That's right,
Take
Barkley.
an aspirin, drink a
I do think
Gatorade, go to bed.
I think you
God
ought to be
damn
worried about that
buttons.
NC State game this year, though, Rob. You too, Billy.
Oh, I am.
I think NC State's going to come up and bite some teams in the ass. I
It
think
could.
Grayson McCall
They
is the real
could.
deal. Which, Billy, I'm not sure you're going.
I don't.
You
I
said
don't
10
think
and
it's gonna
2?
bite them in the ass. I think they're just going to take them head on like a choo-choo train.
I got the Tennessee schedule pulled up. I'm not seeing 10 and 2, Billy.
Oh, they'll lose to
Yeah,
Alabama
y'all
and Georgia.
cherry-picked again,
You beat
Cupcake. You know what?
Chattanooga.
You're right.
I have them losing to Oklahoma, Kentucky,
Another dumb
and Georgia.
See, I have them losing one of the NC State or Oklahoma. It doesn't matter which one. You're losing one of them. You're losing to Bama, and you're losing to Georgia.
Y'all cherry-picked again. Clemson didn't pick their goddamn schedule, you fucking idiots. You don't know shit about football. They picked their non-con schedule. I've been saying for years to drop South Carolina from the schedule. Nobody fucking wants to hear it. They open with Georgia.
That's your
They have
Super Bowl,
an
Rob.
SEC team. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Shut up. No one wants to hear your mouth. I'm telling you, they picked
Super
4
Bowl.
games. That's it. The G5 matchup with App State, a team that's allegedly that may make the playoffs and some people's dark horse there. And then they got Furman. They were helping out an in-state school. They can't help their conference schedule. So
I'm
piss
gonna
off.
laugh. I'm gonna
And
laugh my
the
pecker off.
Citadel. And the Citadel.
I'm gonna laugh my Peter off after you lose to Georgia if y'all come home and lay a big turd and you lose.
That is the
Gamecock-
question,
Rob.
Rob. I haven't heard
And
you.
the old App State Mountaineers.
What do you
Yeah,
think
we
is
still have
the
that Gamecock it up.
What do you think is the reaction of just in all seriousness? Let's say Clemson goes out and they just get skull drugged. Let's say maybe you lose by 40. What do you think is the actual reaction from the Clemson fan base after that?
I'm not going to entertain that because Clemson's not losing a game by 40 points. Sorry.
Well,
You
let's
wanna
just
bet me
say
100 you wanna bet- I'll tell you what. If you want to put that stuff out there, you want to bet $100 right now. You want to give me 40 points? You want to go that route? If
I'm not betting. I'm just
okay.
speaking hypotheticals. What
Then
happens?
shut the fuck up. Well, then what happens if South Carolina loses by 50 to Old Dominion?
We probably are calling for Shane Beamer's head.
Let's just throw bullshit out here.
But I
Let's throw
think
out
one
all
of
kind
these
stuff.
scenarios. Would you not
What
agree?
happens if South Carolina decides to? Oh, I don't know. They play Akron, right? I think Akron's on the schedule. What happens if they
Yeah.
lose to Akron? What
Well,
happens
I
if
can
South
answer
Carolina
that.
goes 0-12?
I can answer that. Do you want me to answer that?
No.
Well, I
I
think
don't-
one of
I don't
those
care.
scenarios is probably a lot more likely than the other. Wouldn't you agree, Kale?
Yeah, I would think so.
Why,
I mean,
why,
Billy.
why is it? Hold on. Why is it that
I'm
you?
wondering about this App State Clemson matchup. This big arm quarterback, this Joey Aguilar, is going to come to.
That name
Death
sounds
Valley.
familiar. Where did he
Red
play at?
them.
Did he transfer in? Joey Aguilar? That sounds real familiar.
Not that I can tell here. Normally, it tells where they came from. But no, I think he's just an App State man.
I don't know where I've heard that name from.
Their running back rushed for about 800 yards last year. Kanye Roberts, akin to Kanye West. And
By the way, Gamecock fans that are talking shit about the Clemson schedule, you'd probably go 5-7 with the Clemson schedule. Please shut
Wow,
your
let's
mouth.
slow down, Rob. Let's
You're
slow
not. You're
down.
not
Come on.
fucking. You're not fucking that
5-7's
good.
actually
Stop thinking
insane.
Stop
Rob,
thinking
what's
that
wrong
you're-
with you?
I'm just
Yeah.
being honest.
You're off
not
the
that good
rails.
of a fucking team. You're not that good. Stop
5-7's
thinking the world-
insane,
you're-
dude.
I think you lose 7 games with the Clemson schedule.
I'm gonna pull it. So I'll give you a Georgia loss. We beat App
South
State.
Carolina would keep the score
Hey,
closer against Georgia
Last
than
time
you
you played
probably.
App State, you lost to them. I'm not buying it.
Well,
That was
that's
like 3
because we
years
had
ago,
Georgia
4 years
coaching
ago.
them, and
I'm not
we just
buying
can't solve that riddle.
we
Yeah,
beat
that's true.
the
Can't solve that.
Citadel. We beat Pittsburgh. We beat Louisville. We beat Virginia. We beat Wake Forest. We
Didn't the
beat
last
App
time you played the
State.
Citadel, didn't you lose to them too? I
Yeah,
mean, come on.
2019.
Let's not go there.
Are any of those players on the roster
Why
still?
are we flexing things from 10 years ago?
2019.
Quick, let
Yeah.
me go make a West Virginia joke real quick.
Like
Yeah.
you haven't.
80 and a 55, wasn't that? Or 80 and a 35, something like that.
70
You-
and a 33.
You would probably go 5-7 against the Clemson schedule.
I mean, that based off of
Well,
what?
probably wouldn't.
I don't know. I could just make up bullshit like you do and just throw it out there.
What
and see
have
how
I
you
made
do.
up?
Everything that you've said here this evening is stupid. You found a stupid tree. You climbed all the way to the top, fell down to the bottom, hit every branch, and then climbed back up and then fell again.
Can you
And
name
you
one
climbed
stupid
back
thing I've
up,
said,
and
Rob?
I felt bad, and I said, "Look, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. Don't do that. Don't do
Is
that,
that what you
sir."
said?
That's exactly what I said.
This
'cause
is
I
coming
am
from the guy who just said South Carolina will win 5 games with that weak
I
ass
think you would
fucking
win
Clemson
five. I
schedule.
think you would win 5. You'd go 5-7.
If I fell from the stupid tree, you fell from the stupid Eiffel Tower and hit every skyscraper on
I
the way
think you,
down.
dude, you're not that good. You went
You're
5
not
and 7
good.
last year. You are not good.
You are not
You
good.
don't have to be good to beat those teams, dummy.
No, exactly right.
I think NC State beat you, Florida State beat you, Clemson beat you.
Yeah, because Florida
let's see
State
here.
looked
You
really
probably
good
lose to App State.
Saturday.
You're not on the level of Florida State. Don't try keep grabbing though.
How
Keep
many
going with those
wins
calls.
do you think you'd have with South Carolina's schedule? 4?
I don't know. Probably 8 or 9 at on the low end. Yeah. your schedule's
I think
That's just asinine.
That's not that crazy hard with our talented roster. I think we would win.
Kentucky
Cade
beat
Klubnik
you
would get
because
exposed.
you should have lost to Kentucky on a neutral
Maybe,
field. So at
You
Kentucky,
should.
you lose.
No. You should have
You
lost.
lose to Kentucky.
You
You
lose
lose
to
to
LSU.
LSU. You lose to Ole Miss. You lose to Alabama. You
Oklahoma.
lose to
I
Oklahoma.
understand this.
Missouri's better than you.
You said on this program,
Then you can't beat
South Carolina is
yourself.
gonna beat LSU, but you're not going to say that Clemson can beat LSU. You motherfuckers talk out of your dick holes. That's what you do.
We're
You've
a more
lost
physical
your
team.
fucking mind.
Okay, we'll give you.
Tired of my
We'll give
team
you
being
LSU.
shortchanged. Your team is a fucking
We'll give you
100
LSU. I think you're still like
failure.
7-5 team.
Rob, if you
You're a 100 team. You're 100 years of failure. That's what
You
you
wouldn't
are.
beat LSU.
You're like,
You
we could go.
wouldn't beat Texas A&M.
No, you are
wouldn't
not
beat
that
Texas A&M.
good. You are not that good. Stop thinking that you're the best ever and
Not
that you
that bad
own
either.
Clemson and everything, and you don't. This is not about women's hoops. Okay, if we're going to talk that, you can talk about how dominant you are, and I'll sit here and watch the
What
rest
about
of this.
baseball either? Because we've won multiple championships in that
Fine.
also.
You want to talk about baseball, the sport that can't outdraw gymnastics in the SEC? Fine, you dominate in that too. You want to talk about that? We can talk about that. But you want to talk about football? Know your fucking role. You're a little bit better than Vanderbilt, a little bit better than Kentucky, but you're a fucking shithole. Know who you are. All right, stop thinking that you're Clemson because you're not.
Did you about lose to Kentucky a few months ago?
Did we lose or not?
No, but you about did.
Okay, thank you. Next, you
Should
didn't
have.
lose.
I would rather be a
Didn't
little
lose.
bit. I would rather be a little bit better than Vandy than be an average ACC team.
No, they're not an average ACC team.
You're
You
an
dickhead.
average. You're an average
so
ACC
stupid.
team now. All
You
right.
are so stupid. You know what? I'm not even
Average.
going to go back and forth with you.
You won 8 games last year. That's the epitome of average.
The Clemson won 9 games last year.
Bowl
fool.
games don't count. You told me that.
Sure.
Yeah, bowl games don't count.
Bowl
for
games
shit,
don't
so
count. You won 8
games.
games.
Clemson went 8-4 last year. That's fine. If
Middle
Shane
of the
Beamer goes
pack
8-4
average.
If Shane Beamer goes 8-4, they'll rename the stadium Beamer Stadium.
Well, he's already went 8-4.
He's already gone 8-4.
And it's not renamed yet, as I'm told.
He's already gone 8-4.
Still will he be?
Still a shithole.
Billy, you're muted. It looked like you were trying to say something. I don't know if he was or not. It looked like he was trying to say
I
something.
keep on thinking with that headset he's got with that little glowing stick at the end.
He looks like a goddamn anglerfish, don't he? He looks like a damn anglerfish.
It says his mic is muted. I don't know what happened there. I guess
You got to hit the mute button, Billy, on your laptop.
He's trying to make hand puppets.
The little mic icon.
a hand puppet. No.
It's like a
Nope.
hand puppet.
Now you're back. You're still muted.
No, there
I
he
don't
is.
know what happened.
Go ahead, Billy. What you got?
Your
I don't know.
headset's muted. His red light's got to be on. I think his
Turn
red
your
light's
red light
usually on.
on.
Turn your cigarette on.
There.
Yeah, there you
How's
go.
it?
Somebody get this old man some directions for his headset. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Write it
He
down
was
on
waving-
a piece of paper.
Waving his
Write it
damn
down on
hand,
something
begging for
big.
some help.
Look, we're just gonna sit here and just write notes like this.
Show it to
Billy,
him.
Can you hear
read
me now?
this, do this, sir.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah, Billy.
Now?
yeah.
Is
You're
we're
good.
hearing all this trash talking by a team that's not even preseason ranked, and that they're going to beat Kentucky, but Kentucky's going to beat Tennessee. What's the rationale from that?
No. I've been told like the bookcase.
I was told preseason rankings didn't matter.
I was told
LSU,
Don't matter.
South Carolina's beating LSU. The fucking video coordinator at
Yeah.
LSU is more qualified than your coach. So fuck off with all that shit. Y'all think you're gonna roll with LSU?
You know, halfway
Outta
through
here.
the season, we're going to hear this is
I mean, he's already beaten you, so
this
I mean,
is Lenore's this season. He's getting some experience on his belt. Just wait till next year.
Nobody's saying
No,
that.
you know what?
Oh,
You know
that's
what's
gonna
going
be
to
said.
happen? You know the most Gamecock thing ever that'll happen? Lenore
my
Sellers
saying is this is next year.
Yeah.
I agree
Lenore
with you.
Sellers
but
will lead this team to a 6-6 season and play outside of his mind, play really, really good, and then he'll transfer to fucking East Carolina. That's probably what'll happen. That's the most Gamecock thing ever. That's probably what'll happen to him.
Does
Yeah,
David
I don't
he's
know
going
about
to get
that.
a great NIL package there.
I would advise that young man, you get you a parking spot like Jackpot did. You make sure that's in the NIL deal for your parents.
Listen,
Don't
Lenoris
fuck around.
ain't gonna leave his brother high and dry. You know, we just took him
Take
on
his brother with
scholarship
him.
too.
money talks?
He's not gonna pull a damn Justin Fields and leave his sister at damn Georgia. He's
Money
gonna
talks.
actually take his brother with him.
East
Money
Carolina
talks.
ain't got no money, Billy. You think we're not paying Lenora Sellers, Billy?
No,
Are you that delusional?
East Carolina,
really?
North Carolina, they're all better
East
Carolina.
Carolina's dirt poor. I mean, they're the
Yeah.
sharecroppers of the
East Carolina probably has less money than West Carolina.
East Carolina's the sharecroppers of the American Athletic Conference, probably on
Yeah.
about the level of they might have about 10 cents more in the bank than Southern Miss.
They might be indentured servant level. They might not even be damn sharecroppers. I don't even think they have their freedom. I mean, they're piss poor, man. They ain't, and if you think Lenora Sellers isn't getting an absolute bag right now, you're delusional. We gave
I didn't
fucking
say
juice. Well, it seemed like that's what you were implying.
that. Mm.
We gave our wide receivers fucking track hawks, golf carts, bags. All right, we pay our players. That ain't a concern.
Right.
Billy.
You gave Wells all that money and he's like, fuck it, I'm out.
Golf carts? Did he just say
Yeah.
golf carts?
We gave him a golf cart. Yeah, isn't
Well,
that
he
crazy?
stole a bunch of
Well,
money.
schools can't compete with that.
Apparently, he's
Well-
still stealing money. He's stealing it from Ole Miss now. Still
Yeah.
not playing.
You're not wrong about that. What's the Tennessee? What are y'all
I
finally
think
giving y'all
he's scared to
players?
play Furman because he laid out last year against
Furman. I think it. Yeah, he only played for that Georgia game, wasn't it? He was
To be
scared of the
fair-
damn Paladins.
To be fair, there's a lot of players that lay out against Furman. They don't want to deal with all that.
To be fair, Furman
I
was the
wouldn't either.
tough.
They'll cut your ankles.
Yeah, Furman was one of the
I heard
tougher.
Tennessee dropped them
Yeah.
off the schedule at the same time they did Army.
Crackback blocking.
Yeah, why were y'all scared to play Army a couple
We
years ago,
wasn't
Billy?
scared
Because they
no
said
other
they
SEC
didn't want to have to play a team that was going to play dirty
Physical, right?
and block them below the knees because they were
Crackback
playing
blocking.
Florida in like 2 weeks.
Crackback blocking.
Oh, is that why? Crackback blocking.
Yep.
Well, why'd you schedule it in the first place?
That was Pruitt and Fulmer did that.
That's about the softest thing I've ever heard in my life, though, Billy. You know that, right?
That's
Well, that's what you
ridiculous.
think.
Just go play the games.
That's what you
Play
think.
the damn
Tennessee.
game. That's what I think. That's what
Yeah,
America
That's what you
thinks.
think. No.
You
America-
ran from Army.
I can't believe South Carolina on here talking trash.
You ran
It
from
just cracks
Army.
me up. It
Hey,
cracks me
we
up.
can win. We
Yeah,
can
we
win
ran from
3
'em.
games. We can win 3 games a year, but we're not running from fucking Army.
Right.
Yeah, they ducked Army and put
Yeah, we sure
Akron
did.
on the schedule.
Didn't we
sure
have
did.
Navy on our schedule
Y'all
just
gotta
about
play
10
Akron.
years ago?
We'll see
Yep.
when y'all play Akron. Don't y'all
We
play
played
that?
Navy.
They ran our ass too. About lost to them.
We
There
played
go.
our service academy. We don't
How'd
run.
you do against Akron?
We haven't played them.
I haven't played them yet, but I'm sure
Akron in the past 5 years, I think. Haven't they
we
jackpot?
beat them.
They
We
played
beat
Terry
them. We
Buck.
beat
Last
them
time we beat
that year.
Yeah, that year they played
in 2018. We were supposed to play Marshall, and I
Yeah.
know because I was supposed to take Jackpot Jr. We were supposed to go to that game because somebody gave us tickets, and they canceled the Marshall game because some damn hurricane or something came through.
Yeah.
But they made it up at the end of the season, but Marshall couldn't play. So I don't know if they were in the conference championship game or something, but anyway, Akron decided to come down for a payday and got
Beat
their
the
ass
fuck
handed
out of
to
them. Yeah, 28-3.
That was the game where they played it like after the Clemson game. Remember that, jackpot?
Yeah, it was the
Yeah, there was
last
like
game of the
12
year.
people there.
Yep, I
Yeah,
remember that.
they literally, Jackpot's not joking. There was maybe 12 people at the stands. It was raining like hell, and it was.
I was just about to say that.
I
Yeah.
think we put up like half the amount of yards on Akron, who was winless. We did against Clemson, which had an elite defense, and made it won the national championship. It's weird.
No, well, I thought I thought LSU won it in 2018. Was it 2019 they won
That
it?
was 2019. Yeah, they played Clemson in the championship game and smacked them around.
Yeah, gave
I
them that
doubt you'll ever
Orgeron.
see a team like that again in college football.
LSU.
Position by position. Yep. This would be hard to beat.
There's some arguments for maybe some of the earlier Alabama teams, but maybe current day, yeah, with the transfer portal.
I don't know. The one that Clemson beat by 28 points had I think
No, I'm
18
talking
of the
about
20
like your
guys
Julio
started.
Jones, Mark Ingram. Talking about those boys.
18 of the 22
Yeah, that team
starters.
y'all beat. They had a lot of tired, bruised, weary, and beat up people on that team that night in California when y'all beat them.
Oh yeah.
Did.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
And let's not
I mean,
talk about the
The
pick play.
infirmary was full.
So, whatever you need to tell yourself.
Well,
All right. What else you got there, gentlemen? Are you what else you got for the program? It's getting late.
I know I've already missed the first Hogan's Heroes
Yeah.
old
Do you watch
fuck.
Hogan's Heroes every night?
every night. 2 episodes.
Some shit.
disgusting
Who
behavior,
was
man.
Hogan's hero? Hacksaw Duggan?
No,
Do
Hogan's
what?
Heroes. The
It's
show,
a TV
Jack.
show. Yeah, TV show. I used to watch
I
it.
thought you were talking about Hulk Hogan.
Used to watch it with my
No.
dad back when I was a kid. Yeah, it's actually a pretty decent little show.
Is that in
It's about
color?
like Pete. Is it in color?
Yeah.
I think some of the seasons are. I
First
think some
couple-
of them are
first
black and
couple-
white.
First couple episodes were black and white, and then they went to color. So
Yeah, I know Andy. Andy Griffith. The ones in color weren't as good.
no, I talked to a lot of people like that. They never liked the color ones. Here's a good question. Remember Ernest T. Bass?
Yep.
How many times do you think he was on Andy Griffith? People get this wrong all the time. How many times do you think he was on?
I mean, how many seasons was Andy Griffith on?
12, 14 seasons, something like that.
Shit, it wasn't that long.
Well, he was on a long time.
It may have been like 8. Probably from like 1960 to like 1970, maybe. Okay. So let's say 10 years. 22. I say it was on 130 episodes.
Nope, 4 or 5. 4 or 5 episodes.
What? No.
Look it up. Google it. How many times was Ernest T. Bass on Andy Griffith?
Well, color me educated tonight.
He was on
How many
5
episodes?
during the entire run, according to
How many?
How many was Otis on?
Oh, he was on several. How many did you say, Rob?
5.
5 times.
5 episodes. Yep.
5
There you go.
times.
All right, gentlemen. Well, enough of this Andy Griffith talk. All right, fuck Tennessee. You're maybe winning.
Good night,
You're
Opie.
You're maybe winning 9 games if you're lucky. All right. If you wake up and you're feeling generous, you'll win 9 games. You might drop that NC State game.
Just
I'm
keep
holding my
nodding your
breath.
head. Just keep
I'm
nodding your
holding
head.
my breath.
I don't think it's happening.
The Clemson man. All right. I mean, I don't need to say anything. Come on, why you keep doing that? Come on, man. Let me go for a little bit. Let me go. Give me 30 seconds.
I didn't
The
do anything
Clemson-
to you.
The Clemson man, all right. At least you can look to the Midlands. We will represent the state well. We will bring wins to the state of South Carolina, all right. And other than that, horns down, fuck Texas, Tennessee. Like I said, you're lucky you don't play us, or you might win 8 games, and we'll leave it at that.
Good night. Thank y'all. Later. You need to plug Callaway's Pick'em tonight before we get off. Last chance.
Yeah, final opportunity
call.
here. You got until what? Saturday at noon. Oh, and by the way, let's make sure you put this out there too. If your picks aren't in by Saturday at noon, I am locking the form at noon. If
That's
you don't
it.
have your picks in, you're fucked. Sorry. It's just too much to keep up with
Yeah.
200 people put in an entry last week, and it's too hard, man.
Rooster let me plug it earlier.
Before noon, so that's just the way that it is.
Yeah. Rooster plugged it earlier on his show, so hopefully we'll pick up some more people.
All right. Well, thank you, Billy, and look forward to chatting with you later on, man.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
Very good.
Any cockle do.
All right, Jackpot. You got anything else, then?
No, Jackpot Jr. said I look like the slug in Monsters Inc. with the librarian glasses.
God, Jackpot Jr. is bashing his own dad. What the hell's going
That's
on
awful.
here? We may have to.
Deal with that. I guess I'm just going to have to go through life blind.
We may have to throw that boy a beating so we can respect Pop here. This is some shit now. Be nice to your dad, sir. The man's going to leave you a fucking house full of pugs. You should respect that man, damn it.
House full of what?
Pugs. Or whatever those little dogs are. You got a pug, right? What is that dog?
Yeah, one pug.
Yeah.
Singular
No, it's
pug.
going to be a house full. It's going to be a house full of pugs in Pennsylvania. Respect your pops, sir. All right, Jackpot. You good?
I'm great.
All right. My one last thing for Mr. Rob has an SEC bias. If it'll play. No, there it goes.
Yes! Yes! Fuck you too!
There you go.